Hello, everyone. My name is Shelly Lynn Hughes, and I'm the founder of Pursuit 365. Every Wednesday, I do a show called Talk Wednesday and bring someone from our community on board, and I do a little chat with them and just get to know them a little better and find out what's going on in their world. So today, we're speaking with a two-time member of our community, and her name is Shauna Mcgrath. Shauna Mcgrath is a CPCP, is a 30-year makeup FX veteran in film, plus 16 years permanent makeup of the cosmetic tattoo industry. A multi-award winning and Emmy honors recipient, certified trainer, published author, international speaker, judge, philanthropist, brand ambassador, innovator of the latest manual tattoo needle, the Bi Blade, plus a pioneer in scalp, you'll have to correct me on that one, micropigmentation, creating SMP Essentials, the first online fundamental training program for those wanting to learn the art of scalp. Did I say that
Yeah,
correctly? Of scalp micropigmentation. Not
right.
to mention, Shauna's also the visionary behind the BEAUTYINK brand since 2008 that's helped to empower those who suffer from disease or disorders every day. She's built her career on faith, honest passion, ingenuity, and an unwavering mission to enrich the lives of others, which has helped spark the permanent makeup industry beauty revolution we see today. Welcome, Shauna. You have got quite a background, extensive in both the film industry as well as the beauty industry, as well as permanent makeup for people with diseases. So,
Yeah.
welcome here today.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for opening up this incredible opportunity for us in the community. What you're creating is just magnificent. So I applaud you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Well, I am very blessed to be able to speak to people like you every time I do a show, and I'm just new at it now, but
Mhm.
every time I do one, I learn so much of, like, well, first of all, about my community members that are very interesting to me, obviously. And I just learn a lot about life because we try to talk about not just what you do for a living,
Mhm.
but who you are. And the more stories we tell or the more stories we learn, the better humans I feel we become.
Exactly.
So I want to know from you because you've been self-employed and not just self-employed, but an entrepreneur for 16 plus years now, right? So
Yeah.
basically 16, a lot of people can't get past the first year. It is very tough being an entrepreneur.
It's very hard. I think the only reason why I succeeded is because of my tenacity and my background in film. You know, when you work in film, you just have to get it done all the time, and there's no options. You have to be excellent always. So
Yeah.
I think that really primed me for going into being an entrepreneur. I never planned to be an entrepreneur. It was
Yeah.
something that just kind of fell in my lap from having a divine vision and just going with it.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. Let me tell you, it has stretched my soul beyond comprehension.
Well, yeah, I've been following you for many years now, being from the beauty industry myself, a little bit different from you, but the publishing side of it and knowing who's who in the industry.
Mhm.
And you've definitely made a name for yourself in a very positive way, and people do come to you. So I guess it just shows you that even you can be the best at what you do. Being an entrepreneur, there's trials and tribulations, there's good days, there's bad days, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
And sometimes
It,
you need to pivot. And I know you've recently pivoted, but we will talk about that.
okay.
So we both know there's good and bad with being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say, like, because you've worked on movie sets, which is super cool, you've helped people that are going through struggles like breast cancer, and you've helped that. You've been a speaker, you've been a judge, you've had such a vast career in
Mhm.
specializing in what you do. Is there a single moment where you're like, that I'm super proud of? Like I've got a couple of those, but that doesn't matter. You do, you must.
There's several. When I received my CPCP certification, that was an incredible monumental moment for me because it took me 8 years of advanced education plus taking a very extensive exam that most people fail in order to obtain those three little initials behind my name, and it stands for Certified Permanent Cosmetic Professional.
Wow.
And I hold that very high regard. I also, when I created SMP Essentials,
Yes,
because it was the first fundamental online training that had ever, existed for scalp micropigmentation. There had been a few other classes out there, but not with the in-depth knowledge. I tried to really pack it full of all the fundamentals that was required. So that was a really proud baby for me as well. And I
definitely.
think the last one has been my Bi-Blade. That was a 10-year in the making process to get it out. And I unfortunately had the design ripped off by a very large company in my early days. And fortunately, they made it incorrectly. So there is a blade out there that is similar, but not what I've created now. And I'm just so incredibly proud of it because it can do so many things and it doesn't require any machines. Like, you are the true artist when you have this tool in your hand. So I'm very excited about that.
That is super cool. So,
Mhm.
quick one line, what does it do? Because I
Well,
don't know what that.
it's a universal manual tool that allows you to blade and shade using the techniques that I created and the configuration of the actual needle. So it's something that a traditional tattoo artist could use, a permanent makeup artist could use. So there's a lot of variations that you can do. It's basically whatever your mind limits you to.
Interesting. That's super
Mhm,
cool. Now, obviously, you've had so many highs.
mhm.
What do you think is one of your maybe biggest regrets? Because I got a ton of those too. But I find regrets, maybe it's not regret lessons, maybe. I don't know how you look at it, but what's one of your biggest regrets?
Well, in I have to say, in since I've been in business, my biggest regret actually was going on a reality TV show to find love. I went with a very pure intention, and I had been single for about 5 years. A girlfriend sent me the application, and I filled it out. I did three different interviews, so they knew exactly what I was looking for, and they really boosted me up to explain that they had found this great guy that's perfect for me, and I was so excited going into it. And unfortunately, I was primed. They left me in the holdings for like 9 hours with no food and kept feeding us alcohol. And by the time I got to my date, I was definitely not my best self. And they set me up with somebody that was complete opposite of what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And the way that they manipulated the narrative, it's not a real prediction of, showing who I truly am. They basically villainized me, which was tough to absorb. And unfortunately, it's aired in Canada, the US, the UK,
Oh my God.
about 15 different times now since, and everywhere I go, I am recognized for it. I
Oh
cannot get
my
away from it.
gosh.
And it's really sad because, they would take sections of it where, I would say in my 20s, I never wanted to date a man with children. And then they edited it to put it right behind him saying, oh, but I have two children. And then you see me turning saying, oh, I never date a guy that has children. Like, it's
Oh my
just,
gosh.
yeah, it's destroyed. It absolutely has destroyed a lot of my life, and it has been the biggest thing that I've had to deal with
So you've
outside
had
of
to,
losing my home to a fire. That was another one, but this dating show was definitely by far the biggest regret I have in my life outside of missing my grandma's memorial.
oh, that one would be really tough.
Yeah, I was on a film show at the time, just getting into the film industry, and they told me that if I left, I wouldn't be brought back. And I talked to my grandma on the phone, and she didn't want me to leave because she knew how important it was to me. So I didn't get to see her,
Mhm.
and so those are the two biggest regrets of my life.
Oh my goodness. Well, if I was to say to those that I can recognize that I was on a cover of a magazine and all the and an international one like 20 years ago, And all the questions inside that I answered, they totally changed it. And even what I look like on the cover, I was like, that's not me. But anyways, I totally get that side of it.
It's just
So
sad
it
because
changed
it
it.
it it compromised my character. And I'm a very upstanding citizen. And when you watch this, I just look like the biggest piece of garbage. It's
Oh,
horrible the way they've done it. And then to get people, I'll be out on, at Safeway, and the little girl was like, "Mom, that's the girl from the dating show." And then the mom
oh
will give
my
me a
God.
really snarky look, and I'm just like, "Oh, I just can't." It's been so terrible. And I've been single now because, you know, nobody wants to
Oh,
date somebody that they've already have a preconceived notion of, right?
yeah, no, for sure. And it shows you that no matter how successful you are in business, it's still sometimes tough to find love.
It's very tough to find love, especially in our city. We have so many magnificent, incredible women here and so few quality men. So it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that now, okay, so we've touched a little bit on that. Now, what would you like to be known for? Like I can see what I would think you would be, but what do you personally want to be known for? Yeah.
I think in a business sense or a personal sense, because that's
Well,
a
we
loaded
can do
question.
both of those. Let's talk about a business sense first, and then we'll talk about a personal sense
hmm
next, because they align with each other generally. But for business, what do you want to be known for?
Well, definitely a pioneer in the industry. I brought scalp micropigmentation into North America and really helped to elevate that by training and sharing at conferences when people didn't even know what it was or if it existed.
Yeah.
So scalp micropigmentation is definitely one, and just for the amount of ingenuity that I've given so very selflessly to the industry. I have mentored and helped people and promoted, and just being a support, somebody that's just being kind and supportive within the industry. And it's hard in an unregulated industry because there's so much miscommunication, and without regulations, there's a lot of bad practice that goes on. And I just always want to make sure that people are safe and feel loved and confident when they're in my hands. So
Oh, I love that so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just speaking to someone the other day who's new here to Canada, and they were from somewhere in Europe. And they were actually shocked at the lack of regulation we have here. She's like, I can't believe that anyone can just go do
Yeah,
anything.
right.
It's
you,
unbelievable. Like
you
you're
can,
putting literally your face or your body in someone
yeah,
else's hands. Now, I'm not talking plastic surgery, but
no,
still oh my goodness, laser and stuff. Yeah. She was shocked. She's like,
very
what is
shocked.
going
The
on?
the the BC government deregulated the beauty industry in the Gordon Campbell legacy. And since then, we have had no regulations within any of the beauty industry. So, you can literally take a 3-day class, buy products from Walmart online, and start doing this from your basement tomorrow without anybody, checking in. And unless somebody complains, even at that, the health board will just go in and look to make sure that it's safe practice, but it doesn't mean that, they're really being that safe.
Unbelievable. That
Yeah,
is really,
very scary.
it's very scary. So that's maybe a note that we should be saying to people, like maybe try to figure out like where their background is and where they learned, and yeah.
hmm And that's why, again, I hold that CPCP credentials so high, because as a member of the SPCP, we have a code of ethics that we have to work by. And if we don't, we will be removed from the organization. So it's the most prestigious and elevated industry organization in the cosmetic tattoo industry, and one that I hold very dear to my heart. I've given a lot of knowledge to the organization, and I like to continue to help to elevate what we are able to do in the industry. hmm
Wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. Now, on the other side of it, what would you like to be known for socially or personally? Like personally, like what do you? Yeah. Like what do you?
Probably being that supportive friend, you know,
Mhm.
that one that, you know, I've had a lot of very dark hours in my life. Trust me, this entrepreneurship has not been faint of heart. I have gone into very dark places and it has been very hard to pull myself out, but I've done it all thanks to my faith. So I really like to be there for other people that are going through hard times. You know, I'm the type of person that when somebody's moving, I'll come with coffee and help them move, you know. I'm just that type of person. If it's 11 o'clock at night and you're having a breakdown, give me a call. You know, if you want to go meet for coffee, you know, I try to be as supportive because when I went through my really hard times with the fire and I didn't
Mhm.
have people there supporting me, and I've been through other tough times in my life where I didn't have support. I
Yeah.
would never want people to go through what I have gone through because it will literally very, very came very close to taking my life. Very close. So it's just, I would never want someone to be in that situation. So I always try to be there and be that type of person that will, you know, hold your hand.
Mhm. And yeah, speaking of mental health, it isn't just for a certain type of person. It affects everyone and all of our homes, whether we want to admit it or not. It's a normal. Every family is dealing with it in some way or another, and so we need to be kinder to one another because you don't know what's
Right.
going on in that person's life that day or who they're trying to help in their own family, the
Hmm.
struggles there. And
True.
so I think even with this, we'll put some numbers up if someone's needing some help, and because it can happen to anyone. Does not
Anybody.
matter where you are in your like where you sit in, financially, or
Hmm.
whether yeah, it affects everybody.
You can only take so much, and we live in such a fast-paced world now where, I mean, as an entrepreneur, I'm doing, you know, my books, I'm doing my orders, I'm doing all the social media content, I'm doing all the social media content, you know,
Yeah.
adding it, you're editing, you're doing lighting, then you've got your clients, and then you've got your orders, and then you've got, you know, bookings, and then, like, I mean, there's so many hats, and then you've got to come home and still have a home life. And there's just so much that we're doing. And because the expectation is so intense from people, everybody wants everything so immediately. And you try to hold up. Eventually, when you run so fast, you lose the ground and you fall. It's simple as that.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah, no,
and
that's for sure.
so you just have to have a lot of grace. I now, you know, this was at a time where I had COVID. I had a girlfriend, her son was, you know, in for a brain aneurysm. I had a dear friend in the hospital as a brain aneurysm, you know, family members being sick. It was just too much. It was just too
Yeah.
much, and I was like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to be in this world anymore.
I don't want to do it anymore.
I don't
Yeah,
want to do
no,
this
and
anymore.
it can happen.
But
It
fortunately, you know, the good Lord pulled me up and said, no, 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 that's not going to happen. I got too much for you to do. And so I just hunkered down. And that's when I built SMP Essentials. It took me 7 months to get that, you know, off the ground. And I just sunk into business and kept going and kept going.
and that's part of the reason why I started Pursue 365 was
Mm,
it's 365 days of the year of you have to find a way to lift yourself up, but then
mhm.
also you hopefully have it in you to lift someone else up. So I always say we have there every single day of my life, I will ask for help from someone, but every single day of my life I try to help someone. And yeah, there's a story behind that, how I learned that. But yeah, it was
Oh, look at
I
two
guess
thumbs up. It gives little fireworks.
oh, that is so sweet. I love that.
That's cute.
I didn't even know that was there. Anyways, I love that. But yeah, so the thing is with you, I thank God you're here today and still teaching and enjoying life and helping others. And that is really beautiful. I love that. So we
Hmm.
know socially, we know now, moving forward, let's talk about what you have coming up in the future. You've already had such an incredible, successful career. What do you have coming up next?
Well, I'm going to continue working on my training and getting this blade out to the world. I will still continue to speak and educate. I have been asked to go to Egypt and speak over there, so I'm very excited
Ooh.
about that. And I want to go back into film. I sadly injured my hand, and it's given me
Mhm.
a lot of grief. I need both hands when I'm doing tattooing,
Yes.
and it's giving me a lot of grief. And so far I haven't been able to do any more tattooing because the amount of stretch and my hand, I need to be able to hold it for a long time, and I don't have that strength yet. So at this point, I'm looking at, reshifting, and I miss film. I was in film for 15 years, and I left after I received my Emmy honors, and I
Yes.
miss the camaraderie, and I miss the people. So I want to just focus and go maybe back into film and do some, what's the next 10 years of my life going to look like? I want to have some fun. I want to have some adventure. I want to have some excitement. So that's what my thoughts are. I'm just going to continue to keep getting my blade out to the world in the hands of artists, because once they try it, they're like in awe of it, and continue to focus on my training and do some film work and just live my best life and try to help as many people as I can on a daily basis, however it is, whether it's in my community or, like personal community, or if it's in my professional community.
That's amazing. So
Mhm.
living your best life, still educating.
Oh, and
Man,
I'd like to find my husband.
I was
So if
gonna
he's
say,
out
are we,
there.
can you talk about the personal stuff? Maybe finding your husband. Maybe that's in it there for you. And yeah, I think that you're doing extraordinary things. You've done extraordinary things. You're still here today, which is a blessing, and lots of good stuff going on. Now, what we'll do for people that are interested in your products or your product services slash education programs, we'll put that in the write up below on the YouTube channel on our YouTube, so people will know how to reach you.
Instagram is the best way to contact me.
Yes.
I'm always on my Instagram. So you can slide into my DMs. I personally man everything. I do everything myself in my business. So you will get me. I'm the person that you talk to. So Instagram is the best way. And then I can always share more about my trainings and my blades and all of the fun things that I have going on.
That's amazing. Well, let's just keep spreading the good positive vibes and keep spreading
Hmm.
the great quality products. And you're amazing. Thank you for coming today and
Oh,
chatting
thank
with me. I
you.
really appreciate it. We've known each other for years. I swear to God, 10
Hmm.
years.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I've
more than
raised
that. More
only
than that.
15, you
We've known each other for about 15 years. When we met at that the car show, it was the, I want to say MGM, but that's not it. But it was one of those car shows that we had met at, be right when I opened my business.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
so much has gone on. I just and with so many members now, but I thought we were 10. Well, I knew that we met when I first started Fresh Magazine.
Yes.
We started, and Fresh is probably about 13 years old now.
Yeah.
So I probably met you even just before that. And we did a couple stories with you, I believe,
Hmm.
and you wrote a few times. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while. Gosh, life goes by so fast,
I
doesn't it?
know. And look at what you've created, Shelly. You should feel so proud of yourself. You've not only done your magazine at such an exponential, you did so much back then, and now with this 365, and you're just going gangbusters with it. So congratulations on you and your continued success. I'm very proud of you, and I'm so grateful to be in the community and continue to rise up and lift up other entrepreneurs.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your, I have shivers. I love it. I thank you. I appreciate that. We get a little embarrassed when we get, oh, thank you. But I do really appreciate that
Yeah,
coming from
well,
you,
it
especially.
doesn't go unnoticed and it doesn't go unappreciated. All the emails back and forth, and I'm neurodivergent, so it's very challenging for me. A lot of the social media and a lot of the writing and back and forths, and I can be lost very easily. But you're very patient, and I really appreciate that, and I want to just thank you so much.
Well, my pleasure, my friend. I will send you off now because I know you've got another meeting. Mwah. Thank you. Have a great day, and we will talk soon.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you so much. Have yourself a
Bye.
magical day. Bye bye, dear.